Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
I do.
I do.
Why are you here today?
I'm here because Donald Trump raped me.
He lied and shattered my reputation, and
I'm here to try to get my life back.
I'm going to walk you through the evidence that you heard in this case. My job and your job is straightforward. Stick to the facts, to the evidence, and to the law.
How old are you?
79.
79.
79.
How frequently would you shop at Bergdorf Goodman?
I would tend to go to Bergdorf's once or twice a year for the sale. He came through the door and he said, "Hey, you're that advice lady." I said, "Hey, you're that real estate tycoon." He said, "I need to buy a gift. Come help me. Come help me. Come advise me."
Did you agree?
I was delighted.
Why?
Well, it was such a funny New York scene. I'm a born advice columnist. I love to give advice, and here was Donald Trump asking me for advice about buying a present.
What did you do?
I said, okay. Donald Trump was being very light, and it was very joshy and pleasant and very funny. The door was opened. That door has plagued me for years because I walked into it.
That open door has plagued me for years because I just walked into it. Just walked in.
What happened once you entered the dressing room?
He immediately shut the door and shoved me up against the wall and shoved me so hard my head banged. I didn't want to make a scene. I know that sounds strange. I didn't want to make him angry at me. I didn't want to stop what started out as something light and fun and comedic. I remember he was very large, and his whole weight came up against my chest and held me up there, and he leaned down and pulled down my tights.
At any point during this encounter, did you scream?
I'm not a screamer. He had pulled down my tights, and his fingers went into my vagina, which was extremely painful. Extremely painful. It was a horrible feeling because he curved. He put his hand inside of me and he curved his finger. As I'm sitting here today, I can still feel it. It was...
Then what happened?
Then he inserted his penis. I could certainly feel that pain.
Sitting here today, how do you feel about your decision to go into that dressing room?
It was very stupid. It left me unable to ever have a romantic life again. I had to tell Lisa. After she heard he had pulled down my tights, she asked me, did he insert his penis? I said, yes. And then Lisa said the words. She said, he raped you. He raped you, Eugene. You should go to the police.
Did you go to the police?
No.
Why not?
Because I was ashamed. I thought it was my fault.
Why did you think it was your fault, Miss Carroll?
Because I was flirting with him and laughing. It was high comedy. It was funny. And then to have it turn into the...
What did you do the next day?
I went to work.
You didn't skip work?
No.
Why not?
I'm a person who always looks on the bright side, and I tried to find something that would help me get over this horrible thing.
Who, if anyone at work, did you tell what happened?
Carol Martin was an anchorwoman at ABC in New York. I took her through step by step what happened, and Carol is a very unjudgmental, open-hearted friend. But she gave me her concern was very different than Lisa's. Carol's concern was, do not go to the police.
Did she explain that advice?
Yeah, she said, keep it to yourself. He has 200 lawyers. He will bury you.
What did you say?
I agreed with Carol.
Why did you stay silent for so long?
I was frightened of Donald Trump. I thought he would retaliate. I was ashamed. I thought it was my fault.
Were you afraid of how others might react?
Women who are raped are looked at as soiled goods. People say, oh, you're so brave. You're so brave. But really they are thinking, I don't know, she should have been smarter. Or, I don't know, she should have screamed. Or maybe that dress she was wearing, maybe she flirted too much.
And what about your family? Did you tell them?
No, never.
Why wouldn't you tell your family?
We didn't talk. My family is very upbeat. We are all for having a great time. We do not discuss anything that would cause my parents or my sisters and brothers to feel badly.
I'm sorry to ask this so directly, but have you had sex since Donald Trump assaulted you?
No,
Could your age have been a reason why you never had sex again?
I don't think so. You know, I feel young. I'm a young 79. I think it's because flirting ended up as the worst decision of my life.
The worst decision of your life? What is that a reference to?
Going into that dressing room.
How do you feel about not having been in a relationship since the mid-90s?
I feel I've lost out. I'm sorry, I'm a happy person, basically, but I'm aware that I've lost out on one of the glorious experiences of any human being. Being in love with somebody, making dinner with them, walking the dog together. I don't have that. I'm just cuddling on the sofa, watching TV and eating popcorn. I'm aware of how much I've lost.
How often, if at all, do you think about the assault that night at Bergdorf's?
Just recently, I pulled over to the side of the road on my way home because, well, it was late and I thought I would rest my eyes and just take a quick nap. I closed my eyes. I must have fallen asleep because when I woke up, I felt Donald Trump again on top of me. His huge, I thought for a minute I was going to die because I couldn't breathe. That's the sudden, horrible kind, but normally I would be cooking pasta or just going about my normal day, and in would slide just a picture of him going like this into the dressing room or hitting my head.
With whom, if anyone, do you discuss these visions when they occur?
Nobody.
Why not?
Well, I don't want to ruin somebody else's day.
Why didn't you speak publicly about the assault when he first started running for election?
My mother was dying in Indiana. I was at her side with my brothers and sisters.
What is your opinion of Donald Trump today?
He is vile.
And when you're starved, you can do anything. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Grab them by the pussy.
How, if at all, did the fact that Donald Trump was president affect your decision to include him in this book?
Well, it was the very fact that he was president that made me really pause over doing it. I just said, Eugene, don't be chicken.
Do you recall how Donald Trump responded after the excerpt was published online?
Yes.
I don't know her. I never met her. I have no idea who she is. I have absolutely no idea who she is. This woman is a disgrace, totally false. It was fake. She's a fake. It's a made-up, fabricated story. She is not my type.
And what do you understand that to mean, Miss Carroll, that you're not his type?
I'm too ugly to attack. Too ugly to rape. People have gone through much worse than being reviled by President Trump. I understand that. But boy, it hit me. And it laid me low.
Have you received positive support since Mr. Trump made those statements?
Yes. Loving, heart-swelling letters coming from people all over the country. You know, it bore me up. But here's the thing. The vileness and the dirt and the seedy language and people describing what they think I did and why nobody in the world would touch me because of my enormous ugliness. It sort of swamped the heartfelt letters that I was receiving on the other hand. It is very hard to get up in the morning and face the fact that you're receiving these messages. You are just too ugly to go on living. Normally, a story about a man in the Times would not have affected me, but the reaction to the bombshell in the Times from women around the country was startling. It was like a wave broke. I thought, okay, 76 years of being silent. I'm done with being silent.
Sitting here today, are you happy you have spoken publicly about what Mr. Trump did to you, or do you regret it?
I have regretted this about 100 times, but in the end, being able to get my day in court finally is everything to me.
Have you enjoyed the attention you have received from this case?
Getting attention for being raped is not, it's hard. Getting attention for making a great 3-bean salad, that would be good.
Do you ever regret bringing this lawsuit?
About 5 times a day.
Why?
I thought I would just take a peek at my Twitter, and there it was again, the onslaught of the liar, slut, ugly, old. But I couldn't have been more proud to be here.
We will hear closing argument on behalf of the plaintiff. Ms. Carroll is represented by Roberta Kaplan.
In the spring of 1996, Donald Trump sexually assaulted her. Like many women in her situation, Miss Carroll tried to suppress what had happened to her. Donald Trump's response was both brutal and immediate. Miss Carroll must have been lying because she was too ugly or too unattractive for him to sexually assault. The real question is how to measure that harm he caused. There is the reputational harm that Miss Carroll suffered. The very heart of her success was her reputation for honesty and integrity. While Miss Carroll built that career over 5 decades, Donald Trump shattered it in less than 24 hours. His June 21 and June 22 statements alone reached at least 100 million and probably many more than 100 million people. The damage he caused was significant, so the cost of repairing that damage is significant too. The second category of compensatory damages is where you need to decide how much to award Miss Carroll for the pain and suffering that she has been experiencing. Imagine knowing that all these people out there hate you. They all want you to be raped or killed, wondering if they live across the street or right down the street, always worried that one day someone would act on these threats. The whole point of punitive damages is to punish a defendant who has acted maliciously to stop him and others like him from acting in a similar manner in the future. Donald Trump walked out of this courtroom and then out of the courthouse to hold a press conference. During that press conference, while you were sitting in this jury box, he told even more lies about Miss Carroll.
This is a person I have no idea, until this happened, obviously, I have no idea who she was, and nor could I care less. It's a rigged deal. It's a made-up, fabricated story.
The one thing that Donald Trump cares about is money. While Donald Trump may not care about the law, while he certainly doesn't care about the truth, he does care about money. I know that you will do the right thing and stand up not only for E. Jean Carroll, but for the principle that the rule of law applies to all of us, even the rich and powerful, even Donald Trump.
We're coming on the air with breaking news, a ruling in the federal defamation trial against former President Donald Trump.
The jury has ordered Trump to pay E. Jean Carroll $83.3 million.
$83.3 million.
$65 million for punitive damages.
That is a gut punch to Donald Trump.
Between both trials, Trump now owes a combined $88.3 million.
I was jumping up and down.
The women grabbed back and E. Jean Carroll grabbed them by the pocket.
It takes a great deal of courage. It paid off.
It was a beautiful thing and very, very moving.
A feeling of hope that when you tell the truth, you can be believed.
It is about women and survivors all across this country.
Was really doing this so that it couldn't happen to other women.
For thousands and thousands of other women.
This was for victims everywhere.
You are so brave and beautiful. Thank you.
When someone marks you like this, it doesn't go away. There is finally one, but I'm damn glad for this one.
I'm overwhelmed with joy and happiness and delight for the women in this country. It's about every woman.
When I think of the progress that my ancestors and all the incredible activists and politicians that came before me, what they've done to ensure that I grew up in a country where I was not judged based off of the color of my skin, where I had access to reproductive rights, where I had access to simple things and to basic needs, and all of those rights are currently at stake.
Well, this is sworn testimony, and I'm a big believer in the truth, that it should be known.
I grew up in the segregated South. I am of a certain age and I remember certain things. I can smell them coming back around. It is an honor to be a part of this project.